This is me building my personal finance community in public. It's called Dollar Discipline University, and how these videos are going to go. First, we're going to go through some YouTube comments, basically some Q&A or just random comments about personal finances, things like budgeting, paying off debt, your personal finance mindset, saving money, all that good stuff, right? And then we're going to jump into maybe some community activity that's happened either today or some upcoming events that are happening. And then finally, probably the reason why you clicked on this video, thoughts on my mind to help you reach your financial goals faster. So really this one's all just about just getting started. Okay, just freaking start. But we have to go to the YouTube comments here. So this is my channel. What we do is I go to the community tab and I see if we have any comments. Oh, we have two today. Sometimes there's zero, which is great. I love this. I love this. All right. Double O Scheiden, community member. I appreciate you. Looks like a cool tool. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm considering a hybrid debt approach by starting with a couple small debts and then switching to an avalanche method. Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So, what she's referring to, if you're unaware, I have a software for debt stuff, different debts and everything like that. Hey, Jacob, what's going on? And so I think that's what she's referring to. So she wants to pay off some of the smaller debts first and then switch to the avalanche method. So that's a very cool strategy, I think. And I think a lot of times people, just go full screen here. A lot of times people are so fixated on, and by people, I mean people talking about personal finances, they're so fixated on one of those strategies. So the debt snowball or the debt avalanche. And they're like, I don't know, very extreme about like, no, you have to do this. Like there's some people where it's like, no, I've seen, thousands of people go through debt and just so many more people pay it off the snowball way because of, you pay off the first one quicker, et cetera. And then there's these people like, what are you guys stupid? Like, you got to save more money with the avalanche method. It's like, I think there's a somewhere in between that probably, I don't know, it's probably best for most people. Like, if you have debt, and I've been there, my wife and I, we paid off $43,000 in just over a year. So like I am very aware about being in debt. And there's always that one debt, that line item that just really pisses you off that you have. And you're like, I need to get rid of this thing. And it's like, even if this isn't the most optimized way to pay off my debt, I just got to get rid of this thing. So I think a hybrid approach is really, really cool. So thank you for sharing that. And let us know, keep us updated on how that goes. Jay, I'm downloading your videos to watch offline on my flight tomorrow. Thanks. That is probably, and I'm not sharing my screen. That is probably the craziest comment I've ever gotten because when I go on a flight, I feel like my headspace is like it's such a sacred place for an airplane because it's like I don't know, how far your airplane ride is, but the amount of hours that you need to like fill your headspace with of just like stuff. Um, wow. So I would say that's the coolest comment I've ever gotten, Jay. I appreciate you. Where are you going? Have fun. Hopefully it's a fun trip. Enjoy it. Thanks for leaving a few comments on these videos. I appreciate you. And Double O Scheiden, you've done the same. Thank you so much. So guys, yeah, anyone else tuning into this? I really love this section to be kind of the community building part on YouTube. So if you're interested in personal finances or trying to improve your personal finances, and if you're new to me, like I've been a corporate accountant for over a decade. I've gone through my own personal finance journey as well. When, like I mentioned, my wife and I, we paid off $43,000 of debt in just over a year. And really, my personal finance journey started about 10 years ago. And that's kind of the motivation for this live stream. I kind of want to talk about, again, just starting, because I talk to a lot of people inside the community, and I think there's this general sense of, we're going to get into it in a little bit. Okay. The next part. So YouTube comments, check. So guys, get in there. If you are watching this video now or later on, I appreciate you. We just did the YouTube comments. Now let's talk about some community activity. Okay. So, couple things in here. So I mentioned, I'm trying to gauge interest on if people are wanting to do like a monthly sprint to save $1,000. Basically, it would be using all the experience that I have again as a corporate accountant, as someone who's gone through their own personal finance journey, and just some other things that I've tried along the way as well. what I'm probably going to do is have a sort of free trial of, not free trial, but like a small group of people doing it for free in maybe September, kind of see how that goes, get some feedback. And then this would probably just be a paid thing, because I think if I was able to help someone pay, save $1,000 in a month, I think that's reasonable to have that be a paid thing. And something else that I am doing inside the community, Wealthway, which we just talked about, the software app. I have 10 people going through the beta program for August right now, basically entering all of their expenses into Wealthway, just to help me with feedback. And then I'm giving them a free 1 hour coaching call. So it's like, hey, answer a few questions, and we're going to talk about you specifically and how we can kind of get to your financial goals faster. I'm opening it up again in September for people who are interested in doing the same thing. So right now our list is at like almost 20 people that are like either definitely on or probably going to join. So again, this is only for people in the community. So if you're watching this in the next couple weeks or something, you got to get in here if you want to check it out. Yesterday's video. Yesterday's live stream, I should say. It looks like this is the thumbnail. So pay off debt faster with my free software tool. So check out this video if you want to see like a little walkthrough of the debt portion of the software. And get in here if you want to be part of the beta testing. It's completely free to use, by the way. I am planning on making this free to use for everyone for as long as possible. And then in October, I just plan on opening it up to the world. So I'll be doing a lot of I'll be opening it up to the world. So in terms of events that are happening recently, or on Friday, I should say, we had Finances Friday, which every other week we get a group of whoever wants to join just to join the call. It's basically like study hall for adults. And we talk about things like, no, sorry, we don't talk about anything. We don't talk about anything. Sorry, it's a little late. We just sit there and we work on stuff for our finances. I don't know, pay a bill. We zoom out and we try to look at our finances and try to get a bigger strategy, or you just do something else, whatever. It's just like an hour. You can use the time however you want. I'm not taking attendance. I don't really care what you work on or if you work on anything. And then every once a month, so tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, August 18th, we do something called Money Roundtable. So anyone can join this call. And this call is where we talk about just anything personal finances. We did one about a month ago and it was pretty fun. Just a small group of us. We were just chatting about some of the challenges that we were having, some of the mindset shifts that we've had to overcome to sort of make all this stuff work. Like by this stuff, I mean your personal finances. So yeah, it's really fun if you want to check that out. 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday the 18th. So those are the happenings inside the community. I should mention that for all new members that join, you also get a free strategy call with me. So if you like these live streams, or if you like maybe how I communicate, or if you like whatever, that's how the call would kind of go. So anyway, that's that. So let's talk about kind of the meat and potatoes of this live stream here. And really I think this is tougher to talk about, because it's like, I know you clicked on the video. It was a little like negative, like the one reason why your finances are staying the same. But I think it holds true, because I think I've thought about this a lot recently, where I'm thinking about not just the output, so like not the outcome, but the inputs. Because I think we a lot of times are so focused on the outputs, like, oh man, I need to save, $10,000. I need to pay off $20,000 of debt. I need to do whatever the thing is, right? And we focus on like this goal that feels so far away to a lot of us, but we don't focus on the things that we can control, like in the moment. So the daily tasks, the weekly tasks, the monthly tasks, the yearly tasks to get us to these goals, because we can't, become a millionaire from zero like tomorrow, right? That's probably pretty unrealistic. But like, if you gave yourself years to do it, could you do it? Yes. But you have to start thinking about like what you're going to do today to make it happen. And along the way. So I'm going to open up my drawing tool here. I'm going to see if I can, what's this? Oh, shoot. This was from the other day. Probably one of my better drawing sessions. I'm not going to lie to you. Look at this thing. It looks pretty cool. 3 pillars of personal finance. You'd have to go check that video out. But yeah, here's what here's what I mean here. So inputs, let's make that bigger for you guys. And then we want outputs. Okay, great. This one is definitely like the sexy one to think about and to I don't know. This is the one that we all think about. I'm still guilty of doing things like this in my personal finances, in my life, building my, this is essentially like my business, right? So I'm thinking about outputs all the time, but really the value is in this. And I don't know what I'm doing here with these lines, but just go with me here. Trying to make it look fancy. The value in here is in the inputs. And part of the reason why I'm doing this daily live stream thing. So when did I start doing this? Like locked in. So the 11th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's already been 7 days. Wow. Okay. So part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I asked myself, what things do I want to have happen? Can I move this? No. Can I move this? Okay. What things do I want to have happen when it comes to the community, Dollar Discipline University? It's like, well, I obviously want more people in it, and I want to be able to provide as much value as possible because I think right now, and I'm still thinking of more ways of how I can do this, but right now I think someone could easily join this, not even talk to me, watch the video that's inside the classroom, take action on it. There's one video in here. It's 39 minutes. Take action on it and start doing something today. Never talk to me and start seeing progress. I genuinely think that. And alongside with the other accountability stuff that we have, like the Finances Friday, the Money Roundtable, we have a weekly post where we try to challenge people to like, hey, can we do this weekly? Just like little small tasks that we can accomplish during that week. So I think someone could join and do all of that. So this isn't like a money thing or anything like that. I just genuinely want to help people, and I hope that kind of comes across in the content. So for me, the output is, I'm just going to use the community for example, but like more members. I'm not going to use the community. Let's talk about personal finances. So when I was, say 10 years ago on my personal finance journey, I had no goals or anything like that. I had no financial thoughts really, to be quite honest with you. And it's funny because I went to school for accounting. I got my bachelor's in accounting. So for me to not really be thinking about my finances seemed kind of silly. So I had a shift in mindset, where basically I almost, long story short, I almost ruined the sale of a new car because I didn't know how much money was in my bank account at the time. So for me, what I started doing daily on inputs was I just looked at my bank account daily because I had no idea how much money was in there. So I just started looking at it, and I did this. I want to say it was for like, can you see this if I do this? I want to say it was like 75 days. I told myself I was going to do it for 30 days, and I just kept doing it. But at some point, like this is great and all, like this was very cool. Oops. Guys, I'm going to be so good at this drawing tool. It's going to be, yeah. This is great and all, right? But like just doing this got me, like, it didn't progress. I didn't save more money by doing this. I didn't do anything. Like there were other actions that I had to take to make things happen, right? But what it did, my inputs of looking at my bank account every day, the output of that was that I was more financially aware of my resources, right? That seems pretty important. That seems really important. because at the time I was not financially aware of any of my resources. So then I'm trying to think of another like big event. Um, so I'll skip couple steps and just go to like another one here. So then I was like, okay, well, my wife and I sat down and we were like, what are we doing with all this debt? We had over $40,000 of debt. Like, what are we doing with it? We're like, I don't know. So the output of it was like, we wanted to become debt free, but doing what we were doing wasn't going to work because what we were doing was just like, I don't know, we were paying our minimum payments. Um, Maybe if one of us got a bonus, we threw a couple $100 at one of the debts or something like that. But we were not being very intentional or thoughtful or anything. So it's like, of course, we're not on a path to become debt free very quickly because we haven't we haven't changed any of our habits. So what we did, and this was absolutely my idea, we had just a monthly debt meeting. Okay, and it was 5 minutes. And what this did was it connected strategy to outcome. And we had this massive list of like, I think it was 12 different loans. So I would not recommend having 12. It's just absolutely insane. It's very stupid. And we met every month because, my wife had debts in her name, I had debts in my name, and we had debts like shared. Yeah, just kind of stupid. And we shared a bank account at the time. So, well, we still do, right? We shared a bank account. And the whole point of this was to make sure that we didn't like spend extra money that like we both didn't prioritize something different and then like blow our bank account on all this debt stuff. So it's like, okay, what's going to be the focus and debt this month? Sometimes it was one of her debts, sometimes it was one of my debts, and we just made sure that the thing got paid off. And then eventually, so we did the snowball method because we had 12 loans, craziness. And 4 of them, 4 under $1,200 each. So our thought process was like, man, if we can just, if we can get rid of those 4 that were under the $1,200 like pretty quickly, then that brings us from 12 to 8. And then we have 8 loans left. And then the first 4 took a little bit. And then think about it. Like if 4 were under $1,200, so let's say it was an average of $1,000, so $4,000. And then that $4,000 we kept rolling into the next debt. Like it just got wiped out so quickly. It was crazy. But of course that's how, like looking back, of course that's how it works. But in the moment you're like, wow, this is happening way faster than we thought it was going to happen. And it did. So I kind of challenge you guys. I'll take a quick like break here in terms of whiteboard because I want to hone in. What's one thing that what's one output or one outcome that you're hoping to have? And then you have to ask yourself, what inputs are you willing to do for it? And that's where this kind of just start thing came about for this video. Because I think we always get just start. I think we always get caught up in the outcome. And we get overwhelmed with it, but it's like the small mundane tasks that we have to do for it just don't seem worth it at the time. So here's a good example that's actually happening in our community. Of course, I'm not going to like share any names, but it's actually been a couple people that I've talked to where they've had no savings and they wanted to get to a quote proper emergency fund. Okay. And you could look up what proper emergency fund means. I think if you were to Google it, it will say basically every article is going to say that all experts say that you should have 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses in an emergency fund. And while that's amazing advice, and you probably should, that's a lot of, you'd probably feel pretty secure. At the same time, if you look at your expenses and say you have, I don't know, let's say you have 3K expenses a month times 6 months, you're looking at like $18,000. And someone looks at that and they're like, how in the heck am I gonna just get to $18,000, right? Because it feels like at the end of every month, you have no money left over. You have unexpected expenses popping up out of nowhere. And you're like, how is this even possible? Well, just start, right? So the challenge that I gave those couple people in the community, it's like, okay, great. You have no savings. I totally understand that feeling. Pay yourself first. What that means is every time you get paid, you move money somewhere else. You get it out of your checking account, you get it out of the thing, the place where you're going to be looking at it daily, right? Right. You're going to be looking at it daily, because what does that do? It gives us, make more financially aware of our resources. That's all it does, but it's very helpful. And when you pay yourself first, so if you have no savings or limited savings, wouldn't it be amazing if you just like had more savings in the next month? I think so. How much is that for you? I don't know. I guess it depends on your personal situation. But let's say you have $0 saved up. Would $100 at the end of the month sound pretty good? Yeah. Would that $100 make you super rich? Absolutely not. $100 there. We're going to turn that one green for you guys. Of course, it's not going to make us rich. But this is just part of the habit building of getting to this. We can't get to $18,000 without going through $100, right? I mean, you have to start somewhere. So if you're starting at zero, you have to go through all the hundreds to get to $18,000. So eventually, what this turns into is you're building up this habit, and it turns into every single month. Every time you get paid, let's say you get paid weekly, $25 a paycheck. Just shove it somewhere else, and then at the end of the month, you just have $100. Yes, and what that means is you're going to have to remove $25 of spending for the week in other areas, but that's something that we're going to have to just negotiate, because a lot of people just say like, oh, do everything, save everything, pay off debt at the same time, live a life that you're supposed to live. And it's just not realistic. It's just not like, um, I don't like to sugarcoat things, right? But it's like, we can't have everything. As much as I hate the idea of people thinking of budgeting as like, oh my God, I have to just cut, 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 cut. I hate that idea, because I don't think a budget is really intended for that. I think it's more about um, how intentional we're being with our money. Like it shows us what we can do with our money, right? It shows us how it gives us financial awareness of our resources. That's what it is. That's what it does. So I don't want someone to think about, oh my God, I have to cut instantly. Oh my God. But like you can negotiate $25 somewhere else. That's nothing. A week, that's like nothing. Right. And even if you feel strapped, it's like we have to figure it out, because if you have no savings, you got to start somewhere. If you want this emergency fund here, we have to start somewhere, right? Got to start somewhere. Oops. Got to start somewhere. Okay. So is this hitting home for you guys? Does that kind of make sense? The just start idea here. It's been very beneficial for me. And to get back to the community, I guess. So I'm gonna delete this arrow. I don't know what my thought was going to be with that. So to get back to like the community aspect, because I want to bring it back to you guys and how I'm thinking about you as I'm doing these. So let's actually start over here. So if we think about the outputs column here, right? So the output is more community members becoming debt free, more community members saving more money, right? And more community members just being confident with their finances, right? So if I wanted all these things, that's the output. What's the input of that? It's like, well, I could do a lot of things probably, but one thing for me that I thought was important was just daily accountability. And this is where the habit stacking comes in. So for me, every time I've been intentional and thoughtful and done a very consistent process, like looking at my bank account every day, that's definitely something we can do daily. The monthly debt meeting, this is probably not something that makes sense daily. Like that would have been pretty silly if we had a daily debt meeting, but monthly seemed pretty reasonable. And of course, we'd have conversations throughout the month, like middle of the month, just making sure we're kind of on track, right? But every time I've sort of increased my inputs or made them better inputs, um, it could also be something like, let me move this down because I think there's one more area that we have to touch on here. Most people want higher income. I know I don't know about you, but I'd always like higher income, right? But I think this is the big missing gap here for a lot of people, unfortunately. Yeah, great. Like you want more money. You think your low income is the issue of within your personal finances, but what are you willing to do? So what do we have to do? We have to become more valuable. Like we're not just gonna luck our way into stuff. Some people do. Like I wouldn't recommend just waiting. We have to become more valuable. We have to learn more skills. And I think this one's important for me, and I'm still learning this, but it's just more confidence in ourselves and no, or how am I going to say this? Like limiting beliefs, more confidence, no limiting beliefs. Because for so long, I would think that I wasn't capable of doing some of the things that I thought I wanted to do, and so I didn't do the thing because I was not confident. So I think all these things and probably so many more lead to this. And for me, when talking about higher income, um, throughout my career, I've found that for all the 9 to 5ers out there, I found that leaving my company, my current company, or yeah, my current company, but the company I was at the time to go to another company, it just yielded a higher raise because that just for some reason that's just how that works. I don't know why, but the company that you're in, unless they're like a super amazing company, but most companies just want to make it just comfortable enough for you to stay. Maybe you're a little kind of annoyed and kind of you're like you're complaining about it, but it's like it's enough to like keep you kind of going and keep the lights on, if you will. So it's like they make it comfortable, but I don't like comfortable. So and if you don't either, I would suggest like just doing like an audit of yourself. Like be honest. Like am I becoming valuable? Am I trying to learn more skills? Do I lack confidence in trying to get the things that I'm trying to get? Okay. But yeah, so I'm actually hoping to I don't know, should, I don't I don't like saying this, I guess, but like maybe like lead by example. Um I don't like to say that not to toot my own horn, but I think that's another thing. It's like if people are seeing that I'm doing something on a regular basis, like so doing these videos, then maybe they're like, you know what, maybe it does work. So I'm hoping that the growth of the YouTube community and also Dollar Discipline University increases because of these habits that I am doing. Now, kind of like this with the bank account, okay, just doing an input doesn't always necessarily mean you have to get an output. Like there's other actions that you have to take, right? Because if we go back to this bank account example, yes, we were more financially aware of the resources, but now we have to do something with the resources, right? We have to strategize around the resources. So that's the next kind of layer to this. But first is just start, please. So let me know if you guys thought this video was helpful for you. Here's Dollar Discipline University again. It's at school.com/debt. The link is below this video. And yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to help as many people as I can. I hate the fact that the average American doesn't even have $1,000 saved up to pay for an unexpected expense. I hate that so much, and I want this community to be one of the factors of that changing. Um, so make sure you get in here. Again, if you like, the reason why I do these live streams live is because I do talk to people like individually, personally with their personal finances. And I want people to first see, like, hey, what's this guy all about? So it's really hard to fake a live stream. If there is a way, I don't know how to do it. I'm not super tech savvy with that. Maybe I can make an AI version of myself or something like that, and they're going to be like super smart and just very fluent and very thought provoking, right? But for me, it's just something that I like. I could just make a regular YouTube video, upload it, do some edits or whatever. But I think just me like chatting for however long this has been. Wow, 32 minutes. I got to go to bed soon. Yeah. Anyway, that's this video, guys. I hope you liked it. I'm doing this daily, literally daily. So I'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Have a good one.